So this is a PS4 Slim, and believe it or not, Sony still sells it brand new. But if you're watching this, I would imagine you're smart enough not to do that. They're still charging a little less than its original price. So if you're a gamer on a budget and want a gaming console that won't break the bank, PS4 Slim is an attractive option. It's going for about $200 these days. I don't really consider myself a heavy gamer, but in this video I want to explain my experience with the PS4 Slim over the past 2 years I have had this and why I think it is the best console for budget gamers. The PS4 released back in November 2013, and when Sony came out saying this was built on a PC architecture, it was good news for both the gamers and the developers, mainly because it became that much easier to develop for the console, especially compared to the PS3. So we are talking a custom APU, accelerated processing unit, which is basically a brand name for CPU from AMD that has decent graphics performance. 8 Jaguar CPU cores, Radeon GPU with 18 compute units, 1.84 teraflops of gaming performance. Compared to Xbox One, which was only 1.3, that's 25% more performance gain. And this also has 8GB of GDDR5 RAM, 256-bit bus, 500GB hard disk. The specs are pretty good for something that came out a decade ago, and things have changed quite a lot after that. PS4 Pro came out in 2016 and PS5 in 2020. And if we're talking about PC set of things, Nvidia AMD are now on the market with extremely large power-hungry GPUs with their RTX 40 series and RS 7000 series. And PS4 came out exactly a decade ago. And PS4 Slim is 10% lighter and uses 8% less energy than the original PS4. Directly from Sony, it will cost you roughly $300, and you should definitely not consider that. Instead, you should look for second-hand market where you can easily grab one of these for $100 to $150 cheaper depending on where you are. So the question is, the PS4 Slim is a great value for budget. It's significantly cheaper than the PS5. While it may not have all the bells and whistles of the latest console, is it still worth getting one, and is the gaming experience as enjoyable? I will try to give my honest opinion on this. So like I said, I'm not a heavy gamer, but I do play both FIFA 2023 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare on my PS4 Slim. It holds up surprisingly well. Of course, if you're considering one of these, no one is expecting 120 frames per second, let alone 60 frames per second in majority of the games, and nothing more than 1080p. If you're talking anything more than 1440p or 4K, no. If you don't have a monitor or TV that support these higher resolutions, it's not a problem to worry about. But you can assure it's going to give you the best 1080p 30 frames per second experience, and it's surprisingly very enjoyable for a casual gamer like me. And depending on the game you play, it also shows how much effort the developers put into making these games compatible with the PS4 system. So if you're playing any games that require higher frame rate, initially you would notice the difference, but 10 minutes into the game it's not noticeable since it gives you a good and consistent frame rate even though it's just 30 frames per second. And 1080p won't sound like a lot, but it's still plenty if you sit at the right distance. Overall, the games are just great to play with a combination of visual fidelity, the consistent frame rate, motion blur, and the fluidity of motion. I don't have many games here to test, but it wouldn't be much of a difference experience. Digital Foundry has shown and proven that Modern Warfare 2, you will still get the dynamic resolution of up to 1080p, and it will provide a near 60 frames per second experience no matter the game mode. And for sure the settings are toned down, but you're still getting a great gaming experience from a decade-old console. But it is to say, as the games get larger in size, especially the Call of Duty that I have on mine, almost every month I get average 15 GBs worth of update, and it does take a toll on the processor. But I have the digital version PS4 Slim here. If you have the disc version, or if you go for the 1TB hard disk one, I believe it wouldn't be much of an issue. At the end, the PS4 Slim is the best console for budget gamers in my opinion. If you're looking to play first party titles, getting a base PS4 or PS4 Slim from second-hand market is honestly quite a worthwhile option to consider. For just about $200, you can play and enjoy games that you wouldn't really able to do with a similarly priced PC. You wouldn't be even able to run more than few Chrome tabs on a PC that price. Maybe I'm wrong. But for me, it seems like a deal. It's affordable, has a large library of games and exclusive titles you won't find anywhere else. And also not to forget, the PS4 itself is a multimedia device where you can stream YouTube, Netflix or any streaming app of your choice. So if you're looking for a great gaming console that won't break the bank, the PS4 or PS4 Slim is the way to go.